I think the majority of us are here, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Give me 1 second. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, let's get started. So first, hello and welcome to the academic advising session of orientation. We're super excited that you are here. And we are so happy to meet you. So first, we want to introduce ourselves. I am Susie Nordstrom.
And I am Shelby Euler.
And we're both academic advisors for CEHHS. We represent the Office of Academic Advising, and along with 2 other members for CEHHS, which you can see on the screen here, Brandon and Colette. And today we'll be covering different topics related to academic advising. And those topics include a breakdown of the different colleges and majors at CSUSM, what we do as academic advisors and how we can help you. We're going to look at academic advising at CSUSM in general, and also briefly talk about tools that you will use to help you succeed. We'll talk about specific college-specific information with you, and of course, remind you of some important dates throughout the summer, and then lastly, open up for Q&A session depending on time. So first, let's start with the big picture of how CSUSM is organized. CSUSM is a university, and is made up of 4 colleges, and you can see them all here. It can be a bit confusing because we often think of CSUSM as a college, but actually CSUSM is the university, and the colleges are part of or are a subset of the university at large. So we often refer to the colleges with acronyms such as COBA or CSTEM. You can see here COBA is the College of Business Administration. CSTEM is the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. Then we have JABS, which is the College of Humanities, Arts, Behavioral, and Social Sciences, and CEHHS, College of Education, Health, and Human Services. We also put extended learning on the slide here because extended learning does cover some majors, but if you do happen to change into one of their majors, you'll see the academic advisors at extended learning directly, but sometimes it happens the student asks about them, and that's why we have it here. So now you can see a list of the majors in our colleges, So human development, kinesiology, and nursing. So all of you should be one of those majors. If you are in the right place. And now the important part of what is academic advising about. So we are all about your classes and majors and getting you to the goal of graduation. So in the community colleges and in high schools, usually the term counselor is used to refer to academic advising. But here at CSUSM, you'll want to make the switch to calling us advisors. That's how you will find our office, and also how to make appointments with us throughout your time here. Academic advisors at CSUSM provide advising to all admitted undergraduate students. So we are here to help you achieve your academic goals and support you on the journey toward a degree. And we'll do that by helping you track your progress toward graduation, assist with course planning as well as selection of courses. We can give you information about different majors and minors. If sometimes students want to add a minor or maybe a second major, we'll be happy to talk to you about that. We also can give you information about other campus resources, like tutoring services, health services, career center, and so forth. And if you need to better understand our policies and procedures, we can answer questions about that as well. Now, one of the jobs that we have as advisors is to give you information about what you need to enroll in and how to enroll in your classes. For that purpose, we have put together an enrollment tutorial. You can see it right here. This is a screenshot of our website. If you click on New Student Advising once at our website, you will see the enrollment tutorial. It gives you a lot of information on your academics, including how to find your requirements and how to enroll. Hopefully, most of you have already completed the tutorial. If you haven't, please do so. It will be super helpful. You should have seen a link to it on the Go-To orientation module that you completed before today, and also in recent chatbot and email communications. Again, if you haven't had a chance to go through the tutorial yet, please do so. I think most of you should have already enrolled in classes for the fall, or at least started to do so. If not, again, enrollment tutorial is your go-to place to start. Then we want to remind you about other tools that were also covered in the tutorial. You'll be using those tools throughout your whole time at CSUSM. And they will help you be successful in your academics. You can find them in your My CSUSM account. You can link to it in your campus apps. Your ARR is one of the tools, the first one on the top here, the Academic Requirement Report. This is the big picture report. It shows you all your graduation requirements, and it is also color-coded based on whether you have met a requirement or have a requirement in progress, or you still need it going forward. The second important tool that you'll be using a lot is our degree planner. It's also an interactive tool. It's a semester by semester timeline of the requirements you need still going forward. You can also see on there how long it will take you to graduate. And that's where you will find the classes you need to take each semester. So currently you will be focusing on fall 2021 and look for courses, suggested courses there. And then lastly, your schedule assistant will work together with your degree planner once the schedule for the semester has been published. So currently you'll use the degree planner for fall 2021. Later in the fall, in November or so, when the schedule for spring comes out, the schedule assistant will work for the spring semester. Again, for more specific information about how to use those tools, you can go to the new student tutorial that we referred to earlier in the presentation. And then another important process is what we call the degree set go process. And it starts with the first step, which we call degree, which happens during the first 2 weeks of the semester. You will be asked to update your preferences in the degree planner. And the preferences are just asking you the number of units you would like to take the following semester. So the first 2 weeks of the fall 2021 semester, you will be putting in there how many units you're planning on taking for spring 2022. And then once the schedule is published, later in the semester, you can select the classes in your degree planner that you're planning on enrolling in. And then lastly, you'll also use the schedule assistant then to build your schedule. Then the very last step, of course, is called Go. And that is when you finally are able to enroll in your classes. And I know sometimes it feels really strange, excuse me, to be planning for the next semester so early. But it helps the university build a schedule that hopefully will work best for the upcoming semester. So that's why we are asking you to think about that already so early at the beginning of the semester.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about some more tools you'll use, certainly in your first semester, but really throughout your whole time at Cal State San Marcos. The first is going to be something called Cougar Courses, and that's the primary learning management system that we use at CSUSM for you to access all your course information. At some of your community college, you might have used something called Blackboard. So Cougar Courses is CSUSM's version of that. Whenever you enroll into a class at Cal State San Marcos, you automatically enroll in the Cougar Courses container for that class. But if you, since most of you are probably enrolled in your classes, if you were to go onto Cougar Courses right now, log in, you probably wouldn't see any of the containers for your classes because the instructors usually don't make those visible until like the week before classes start, or sometimes even the first day of classes. So it's okay if you don't see it now, but if it's the first day of classes and you still don't see it in your Cougar courses, it's always best to reach out directly to the instructor and just let them know, hi, I'm in your class, but I'm not seeing the Cougar courses container, and they'll be able to make it visible for you. The second thing is going to be your campus or your CSUSM email address. This is really important for us because as academic advisors, a lot of times when we're emailing you back and forth, it's about relatively sensitive information. So like your grades or the classes that you're in. And so we're required to communicate using just your CSUSM email so that we know that it's you. So it's really important to set this up as soon as possible. If you haven't yet, or if you're having trouble setting it up, we have wonderful tech support. I think we can hopefully throw that link in the chat for our IITS support if you're having any trouble accessing your email. But just some reminders of it. It's managed through Gmail, but the end of your CSUSM email ends in @cougars.csusm.edu, and your password should be the same as you'll use for your My CSUSM and Cougar courses. And in addition to academic advisors being limited to only using your campus email, it's also how your instructors will get in contact with you. If they have any information about the classes or during the semester, if they have any information to share with you, that's going to be the email address that they use for you. Okay, so as a CSUSM student, you are not required to meet with academic advisors, but it's highly recommended that you do. For some majors, it can be nice to just check in every single semester to make sure you're on track. But for other majors, if you feel like you've really got a handle on what your requirements are, sometimes once a year is good, but usually we get questions about just the requirements that you need for graduation. If you have questions about your class schedule, any policies, like I said before, if you've failed a class and you have questions about, what are my options for this, or I don't think I'm going to pass the class, what are my options? You can always reach out to us to ask that. And then just generally making sure that you're on track for graduation. We want you to be able to graduate in the time period that you want to graduate in. And so if you have questions about how to set up a plan to make that work, we can certainly help with that. And the different ways to get in contact with us, we offer a few different options. The first is going to be something called e-advisor. So if you've got a question and you just want to send an email to your academic advisor, maybe it's not a lengthy question, you can always submit an e-advisor form. And what that is it's available on our website, which we'll talk about here in a second. But you basically fill out a form where you say what your information is, and then you choose your major and put in your question, and it gets routed directly to your academic advisor. So you don't have to know who your advisor is or what their email is, and you're able to reach out to them directly. Next is the next service we have is pre-scheduled appointments. So we offer one-on-one currently virtual academic advising appointments that are 30 minutes long, and you're able to schedule those up to 2 weeks in advance. Whenever you go online to schedule an appointment, you're only able to see the next 2 weeks of availability. If you're looking to schedule something longer further into the future, you can always just mark it on your calendar to check the schedule 2 weeks before the day you're wanting to meet, and that's when the appointments should show up as being visible to you. But during the times of the year when, as academic advisors, we're wanting to see as many students as possible because we have the most questions coming in from students, we offer what's called drop-in advising. And so, for example, last week when you all were able to start registering your classes, this week when first-time freshmen are registering in their classes, we are offering only drop-in advising. And those are kind of first come, first serve 15-minute one-on-one sessions with your academic advisor. So we're able to see as many students as possible in a single day. And so those drop-in sessions are really for questions about, maybe your schedule or the upcoming semester for enrolling in classes. If you're wanting to sit down and talk with your academic advisor, maybe make a full-length degree plan, that's where those one-on-one advising appointments will be best. But we'll offer drop-ins during every registration period, during the first 2 weeks of school, just those times when students tend to have a lot of questions for academic advisors, and we want to be able to see as many of you as we can. Another resource you have is our Office of Academic Advising website. We've put a lot of information on this website for you. The first place is, of course, going to be that new student enrollment tutorial, where as a new student, it will just be such a hub for information for you for enrolling in your first semester. But it's also where you'll find our drop-in advising schedule, where you can go to make an appointment, where that e-advisor form is located. If you have questions about transfer or test credit, there's links on there, both paths to CSUSM for transfer and first-time freshmen. There's just a bunch of information on there. And then also it's where you'll find the link to our virtual front desk. So we have a virtual front desk through Microsoft Teams, and that's the platform we use for our appointments and our drop-ins. And so you're able to visit our virtual front desk. And usually when you go directly to the front desk, you'll be talking with one of our intake advisors or one of our peer advisors. And our peer advisors are students just like you at Cal State San Marcos who really are experts in those advising and enrollment tools. And so a lot of times if you have a quick question, you can visit our front desk and your questions will be answered by one of those peer advisors. You won't even have to wait for an appointment or a drop-in. They're really, really helpful. So I really encourage you to, if you have quick questions, to reach out to our front desk. Something that CEHHS students will be invited to is something called group advising. And so it's an opportunity for your academic advisors to chat with everyone in the major all at once to give you important information. And whenever there's a group advising opportunity, you'll always be contacted directly from your academic advisor to keep you or to offer that opportunity to you. So that's just another reason to keep an eye on your CSUSM email. Some of the questions we get a lot in CEHHS is how you can change your major into our different programs that we offer. And depending on the program, it's a little bit different for each one. So I wanted to list it on the slide here. I know it's a lot of information, but for the human development major, if you're interested in changing your major to human development and you haven't done that yet, you can do this at any time in your My CSUSM Student Center. If you're interested in changing your major to kinesiology, it can kind of depend on if there is still space available in the program. And so you're going to want to reach out to the CEHHS Assistant Dean. She's actually going to be presenting to you next during the college breakout session. So you'll be able to connect with her and get her contact information, but it's also here on the slide. If you're interested in our traditional Bachelor of Science in Nursing program, it is one of those programs where you have to apply to it when you apply to the university. So unfortunately, once you start at Cal State San Marcos, you're not able to change your major to nursing, but there are other Bachelors of Science in Nursing programs through Cal State San Marcos, such as our accelerated program, and those are all run through our extended learning department. So you're able to contact them directly to kind of get the info on how the ABS one works and how you can apply to that program. And then lastly, we offer a speech language pathology program at the bachelor's level or an SLP program, and that's run through extended learning as well. You do have to apply to it, but you're able to do it as a Cal State San Marcos student. So if you're interested in applying to the SLP program, you'll also want to reach out to our extended learning office. As academic advisors, we can really help get you to graduation. So all your questions about what classes you have to take and repeating classes, all that good stuff, we're certainly able to help you. But you'll also likely have questions about things related to your major, such as career questions, or maybe you want to go to grad school, but you're not sure what your options are, or if you need to be doing an internship. And this is really where the faculty for your programs will be your best resource. So each of the major that you're a part of, let's say kinesiology, for example, your kinesiology faculty will be teaching your classes, and you're able to connect with them when you have any questions about career advice or grad school options or what internship you should be doing, because they are going to be experts in the fields that you're wanting to go into. So I really encourage you, starting in this very first semester, to start making those relationships with your faculty so that you're able to really utilize them as a resource. And then if any of you have taken a class at another institution outside of Cal State San Marcos and it transferred in, but maybe not how you were expecting it to, you can certainly ask your academic advisor if the class you took can meet a major requirement you were wanting it to meet. But the faculty review those course approvals and substitutions that come in for students who transfer to Cal State San Marcos from out of area schools. Some important dates to remember. If you haven't yet enrolled in classes, you'll want to do this as soon as possible and start with that enrollment tutorial. Like I said, there's a bunch of information on there, and there's some videos that you can go back to and watch that kind of walk you through the enrollment process and using those different tools that Susie was talking about earlier. We offer virtual drop-in advising throughout the rest of this week and then a couple other days in the summer, but starting next Monday, we'll resume one-on-one appointments. So if you went on today to try to schedule an appointment, you'll likely see 2 weeks out of availability, so you're able to schedule those appointments. As of right now, you're all limited to enrolling into up to 16 units, but starting on August 16th at 3 p.m., that increases to 19 units. We don't usually suggest enrolling in 19 units. That can be a pretty heavy load, but nonetheless, that's when you're able to do that. And then while you can continue modifying your schedule throughout the end of the summer, you also have the first 2 weeks of school to modify your schedule. So from August 30th to September 13th, those are the first 2 weeks of classes. You can still add classes and drop classes, and that's why we call that the add drop period, without there being any penalty or anything like that on your record. But you'll want to make sure that you have your schedule completely finalized, all classes dropped that you don't want to take and all classes added that you intended on taking by September 13th, because that's the last day of that add drop period. So now, I know we covered a lot of information, but we're going to open it up for you all to ask any questions you have. It's a